All Century 21 real estate offices are independently owned and operated.
Hi, I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker of Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. Welcome to the Real Estate Roundtable on 94.3 FM The Talker. I'm here with my co-host, fellow realtor husband, Pat Devaney.
Good morning, Jackie. How are you today?
Excellent. How are you?
I'm good.
That's the bigger question.
I'm lovely.
Okay. We're here with Dawn Hanson, licensed public adjuster with the Hanson Group. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for being here with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Almost 3 years to the date, right?
3 years. It's crazy.
We didn't plan.
How time.
Yeah, we didn't plan it that way. So thanks for coming back.
Thanks so much for inviting me back.
You're welcome. We're here every Saturday at 11 a.m. and Sunday at 11:30 a.m. where we talk real estate. We have a full-time real estate office with many exceptional realtors. We have been listing, selling, and appraising real estate for 50 years.
50 years. Oh, my goodness. During the week, feel free to email us with any questions you have at questions@jruddy.com. That's questions@jruddy.com. Or you can give us a call at 570-344-6724. And when you're at jruddy.com, click on the webcam tab at the top of the page, and you can get a live view of Dunmore Corners. And this time of the year, you never know what you're going to see there weather-wise. So,
view our listings, search the MLS listings, and listen to archive radio shows by going to mobile-friendly-jruddy.com. That's jruddy.com. And we're all over social media: Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest. Okay, Dawn Hanson, licensed public adjuster with the Hanson Group. A lot of people don't know you exist. Who are you?
No.
What do you do?
So many people have no idea what a public adjuster is, that it even exists. They've heard of an insurance adjuster. They've heard an independent adjuster. All of those represent the insurance company. A public adjuster represents the public, just as it says. So what we do is we help homeowners and business owners when they have trouble dealing with the insurance company, when they're having difficulty with a claim. We take over the claim for them. We help navigate through everything, from all of the scheduling appointments to phone calls, negotiations, all that kind of thing. It's a very frustrating process if you've never been through it, dealing with an insurance claim. And I think that a lot of people are under the impression that the insurance company is going to take care of them because they've been paying their premium on their policy year after year for 30 plus years. Why wouldn't they just, pay properly when it comes time for damage, a storm comes through.
They don't want to pay. They don't want to pay.
Yeah, I think people learn quickly that, that's unfortunately not the case. It is not a quick process. It tends to get very long and very drawn out, and it is a fight oftentimes to get paid properly. So that's where, we're able to come in. We put our own estimate together. We negotiate with the insurance company. We take the burden off of the homeowner and the business owner because there's a lot of stuff that's involved that you wouldn't really know as an average homeowner. You wouldn't know to ask for certain things. You wouldn't know that the policy covers certain things. And so a lot of times you end up getting shortchanged, and most times people don't realize that until they bring the contractor in, to get an estimate on the damage, and then realize, okay, contractor wants this much and the insurance company's only paying this much. There's a big difference here. How do I, what do I do? Some people think that, it's just, that's all I can do. There's nothing else. I guess I just have to pay the rest out of pocket. And they don't realize that there's someone that can actually come in and help them, make sure that we maximize the settlement and get them paid properly.
But even if they realize that they can get, even if they realize that there's probably more that they should be getting from the insurance company, a lot of people lack the time and energy to fight.
Right. Yeah.
So they just say, okay, and move on, right?
Yeah. A lot of people do. They just, they think, okay, well, I guess that's all they're going to give me. I don't have, everyone's so busy with life and, and the craziness that's going on, these days. But, they don't have the time or energy to fight with the insurance company. A lot of people are just going to give up, or they may fight for a little bit, and then, the insurance company pushes back, and then it's kind of, the process. They just say, okay, well, I'm kind of over it. I'm done. I'll just take what they're giving me and, and move on, because they just want to get back to, to the way they were before.
So the private adjuster is the adjuster that the insurance company sends out after someone files a claim.
Yeah, there's the insurance adjuster that works directly for the insurance company, and then there's an independent adjuster. So that often takes place where, there's too many, they don't have enough adjusters to send out, or maybe they don't want to employ, an adjuster directly. They'll hire an independent company and send them out, and they'll go, they'll put their estimate together and submit it to the insurance company, but they're working on behalf of the insurance company. So they're not representing the client.
And I think that's where the confusion comes in.
Yeah, there's a bit of confusion, but most people don't know to look for us, and usually it's when they, like I said, when they realize that there's something that's not lining up between, the contractor needs this much money to fix it, and the insurance company is only giving me a certain amount. Fortunately, I have a few contractors that do know what I'm able to do for their clients. So when they do come across that, they automatically say, give this girl a call. She can help you.
So what disasters do public adjusters handle?
Anything that's covered by insurance. So we have all sorts of weather here in Pennsylvania. There's no, at least in our neck of the woods, there's no exceptions. We've had, tornadoes and blizzards within a month of each other. But most of what we see is the wind damage, the rain. So if water's coming in, through your roof, you have missing shingles, a tree falls on your home, or your fence, or what have you. And then in the winter you have your pipes freeze, a pipe leak, any type of thing like that. Even some things that you wouldn't think are covered. Let's say, over the summer you have a lot of barbecues and things like that. Obviously, probably not as much this year as we have in the past. But you're grilling too close to the house, or you pull the grill away, you put it back, and then suddenly you realize that it's venting out of the back, and the siding gets a little bit melted. Even if it's something that you did, as long as it wasn't intentional, and it's covered under an all-risk policy. So it wouldn't be covered under every type of policy, but most people, if they have a mortgage, the mortgage company requires that they have an all-risk policy, and that covers everything except for what's specifically excluded. So if it's not excluded, it would be covered. Like I said, as long as it wasn't intentional, you didn't mean to, who means to melt the siding on their house? I hope nobody, but, but things like that people don't realize. But, there's a lot more to a policy than one would think. When you first get your policy in place and you get that giant packet that nobody reads through.
Funny you should say that, because I just, on one of our recent shows, I just talked about that people don't read their mortgage documents at closing. Mm-hmm. And when it comes to insurance, most don't read it. Some do read some of it. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people actually talk to a family member and have the family member explain. But the family member, unless they're in insurance...
I've sat down and I read it. And I don't know what I read.
It's confusing.
Is it in a foreign language? Because I don't know what the heck.
Well, it's a legal document, so
I'm not a lawyer.
Right, exactly. So it's all in legal jargon, and there's so many different endorsements that can give coverage or take it away. So you have your basic policy, kind of standard throughout, all of the companies, but then there's all different wording. So just the change of one word can change the policy completely.
Sure. And like you said, you think you have one thing, but it's completely different.
Yeah, and things can change over time, too. So that's why it's important to always review your policy on a yearly basis every time you get your renewal. If you have questions when you're getting a policy in place, ask your agent, and hopefully they should know what the answers are. But a lot of times I think that it's, people think, oh, well, the agent will tell me. And then the agent thinks, well, if they have questions, they'll ask me. So it ends up being where no questions get asked and no questions get answered. And then it's not until something happens where, they realize, oh, I don't have the proper coverage in place. Oh, I thought that, I had this coverage. And really, it's up to the policy holder to review everything when the policy gets, even though it's confusing and all that. And that's why I say if you have questions, to ask your agent, because once the policy's in place, if there's questions and you think that you have that policy, but you don't, it's still, on you because you didn't read it, unfortunately. But it's so confusing. It's a lot of legal jargon, and, you could have coverage given on one page and then it's taken away on another page and then partially given back on another page. So it's very confusing.
So most people don't know what type of insurance they have. They don't know what's covered under their insurance policy. They don't know how much coverage they have. A lot of people don't even realize what their deductible is. Mm-hmm. And they don't know what happens to their insurance if they file a claim.
Correct. Yeah. There's so much. I think insurance is one of those things that people don't like to talk about. They kind of just get it because they have to, and they know that, when they buy a house, they have to have insurance in place, and they get it in place and then they forget it. It's a set it and forget it type of thing. And really can't do that, because what the insurance company will do is they'll make changes along the way, and they'll send little, notices in the mail. But if you don't read those, and it's not a bill, most people just kind of toss it, and they're not thinking that it's going to make an actual impact on their policy. But they can change the deductibles. They can change, anything. And if you're not questioning it or saying anything about it, they're saying, well, you're accepting these new terms now. But again, there's so many different things that are covered, that most people don't know. There's things that are not covered that people don't realize, like groundwater. A lot of people think, water seeping in through my basement, that must be something the insurance covers. It's not. Any type of groundwater and flooding, that's a totally separate policy. That's flood insurance, and that's a whole nother.
And people think of flood insurance as if they live by a body of water, that they would need to have flood insurance. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But it's any groundwater.
Well, the mortgage company will require someone to have flood insurance if you're near, if you're in a flood zone, actually. Oddly enough. But
there's a lot of people that don't have a mortgage, so it's
right.
They don't opt to get flood insurance.
Right. Yep. So even if they're within a flood zone, it's likely that they may not know to get flood insurance, or, the maps do get rezoned, which they just were rezoned August 5th, and now my husband and myself have to have flood insurance because we have a little creek behind our house. And they said because the little tiny corner of our deck is within that flood zone and the deck is attached to our house, we have to have flood insurance.
And you were notified by your
mortgage company.
Your mortgage company.
Mm-hmm, because they're the ones that were requiring it. So, okay. Yeah. So
and that's huge. My sister lives down on the beach, and the house was in Hurricane Irene in 2011. They had a flood insurance claim because the basement filled up with water. It took out the the furnace and the electrical panel. They went and they did that. A year later, Sandy came through. Oh, no. And Sandy put 2 feet of water upstairs.
Oh, yikes.
So the guy who had the flood insurance, it was for $100,000. He just came in and walked through and says, I'm giving you full value. But then I was there talking to the regular insurance company. Mm-hmm. And he says, I can only give you like $2,200. I says, $2,200? I says, look at the house. He goes, well, I can only give you wind damage. There was a couple of shingles and something up high on the house. Yeah. They didn't want to give anything. Thank God he had the flood insurance.
Yeah, and flood insurance works differently too. There's a deductible. You have to pay 2 separate deductibles. So if you have, let's say, $1,000 deductible, there's contents and there's the building. You would have to pay that deductible twice for each, as opposed to a regular insurance claim where if you have $1,000 deductible, that covers both the building, and if you had any contents, it's kind of, all in one. You have one deductible, but flood insurance is different, and that's why I said it's a whole other ball game.
And it's very expensive.
It's very expensive. We got a quote, oh my goodness, it was like $1,200 for the year, and that was with a $10,000 deductible and like bare minimum insurance. It was ridiculous, and we're like, that's like more than double what we pay for our regular insurance. Fortunately, we checked a couple different places. We were able to get one for about the same as what we pay for our regular insurance, but still, that's like double the policy. And just because I'm ready to cut the corner of our deck
I would
off.
reconfigure the deck. I'd make the deck a little smaller.
Because it's a whole big process to try and get that flood, the flood line moved. I've been Everything's a process.
Oh, my God.
Right.
A friend of mine who's got a bunch of investment properties, and he had a fire in one of his properties, and the insurance company came through, and he was not happy, and he went and he got a public adjuster, and the next time I saw him, he had a smile from ear to ear. He says, if you ever have any kind of a loss or a fire, he says, you have to get a public adjuster. He says, he got me what I should have got. He says, the insurance company didn't want to give me squat. He says, this guy got me what I needed.
Yeah.
So,
especially with big losses like that. I mean, it's so overwhelming, and just your mind is everywhere. So how you can even put together the amount of stuff that you have. I mean, think about when you sell your house and comes time to move. You don't realize how much stuff you have until it's time to move and pack all that stuff up. So it's the same thing when you're dealing with a large loss, and, the insurance company is going to say, all right, submit a list of your contents. Well, when you're at your wit's end with, everything that's going on, you're not thinking about, the extra fork that you had in the drawer or whatever it may be. I mean, all that stuff has to be accounted for, whether you think, oh, it's not a big deal, but it all adds up, all that small stuff. So I highly recommend doing a walkthrough of your house, to put it on video or take pictures, do an inventory, before anything happens, put it on the cloud, walk through, talk about what you have, open the drawers, all that kind of stuff, room by room, do an Excel sheet, put that in a cloud. I've been thinking about doing this, and I really need to actually do it because recently I was helping my field adjuster with contents on a fire claim, and it was 500 plus pages of content.
500 pages?
Pages. It was almost 6,000 items, and there's probably still some things, I mean, from what the client had given us, there were still some things that I think were not on there. So it's amazing, like, how much stuff, especially if you've been in your house for 20, 30 years. You can't even imagine how much stuff you have. And like I said, if you're in the middle of crisis, you're not going to think about all of the little things here and there that you have. So, it's best to prepare before, when you're clear-headed, and just go through, do a video, like I said, take pictures, all that kind of stuff, because you never know. Everyone says it won't happen to me, and then it does, unfortunately. We never thought we'd be sitting in a pandemic, but here we are.
Yeah,
So.
I think it's a gamble people are willing to take because that's a lot of work, right?
It is, but I mean,
It's
in
good
the
advice.
end, if take the time to do it, because if something should happen, you're going to be regretting it, and you can't go back, after it's all, up in flames.
Well,
or
you see it
something
all,
like that.
right?
We see.
So you try to prepare for the worst, hope for the best.
Yes, always.
Right.
Yeah.
With us today is Dawn Hanson, licensed public adjuster with the Hanson Group. How does someone get in touch with you, please?
You can reach me at 570-795-4045 or Dawn at thehansongroup.org.
And Hanson is Hansen.
Correct.
Thank you. Pat?
Yes. We have a popular, established Dunmore restaurant, we can't tell you the name of it, with an attached single-family home for $499,000. If you want to know the address, you're going to have to call the office. Along with this, there's a single-family home and a large 4-bay garage. There's plenty of parking. Everything goes with the sale, including the liquor license. There's many upgrades to the building. The dining room seats 44, and the patio has seating for 36. Out in the front, there's a bar, and you can sit 12 at the bar and then another 16 at the tables in the front. All the kitchen equipment is included, such as coolers, commercial ovens, dishwasher, deli slicer, freezer, fryer, and 4 flat-screen TVs. This might be perfect for you. You want to open a restaurant? You never know. Here we go. That's an established, popular bar and restaurant in Dunmore with a home and a 4-car garage for $499,000, and that's listed by Tom Pavlovsky of our office.
Thank you. I have the Greater Scranton Board of Realtors multi-list statistics for single-family homes year-to-date in all areas that we serve. The median sales price is $149,000. That's up almost 3%. The median list price is $165,900, and that's up 4%. And the absorption rate, it's way down. It's at 4.42 months. That's the amount of time it would take us to sell the current inventory. Pending listings, number of single-family homes pending year-to-date is up 10%. Number of active listings on the market of single-family homes is down 16.8%. The number of new listings, those just hitting the market of single-family homes, is down 18.7%. Therefore, the sold listings, the number of single-family homes sold year-to-date, is down 6%.
But prices are up.
Prices are up.
Numbers are down.
Numbers are down. So it's the whole supply and demand.
So that means prices are going higher, right?
Yeah, but it's like anything else. Still have to price it, right.
Right.
And it's tricky to do in this type of market, but we know what we're doing. So give us a call at Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. It's time for a short break. We'll be back in a short bit with more Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 FM, The Talker.
The talented team of professionals at Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. They're not just real estate agents, they're agents of change. They're on a never-ending quest for the best for you and your family. They can help you find precisely what you want at this time in your life. A computer, a website, an app, and a listing by itself can't do that. They're obsessed with better and deliver extraordinary, embracing the what if, not just the what's been done before, with a level of accountability and honesty not found anywhere else in the real estate industry. Don't settle for average, okay, or just all right. This change in your life is monumental, and there's only one Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate that will help you rock that change. Call 570-344-6724 and visit jruddy.com, JRUDDY.com. Each Century 21 office is independently owned and operated.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker. I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker, and with my husband, fellow realtor, Pat Devaney.
And we're back
with Dawn Hanson, licensed public adjuster with the Hanson Group. So the first half of the show, we were talking about claims and what's usually covered under on an insurance policy, but some of the things that aren't, we also touched on that. So why should someone, if they have a claim and the insurance company sends out their adjuster and then they get a check, why should someone consider a public adjuster someone like you?
We can do so much more than what the average homeowner can do just with the knowledge that they have. So the amount of money that we're able to get, to get a proper settlement is, it's mind-boggling. Actually, there was a study done, and it's about 574% more than what the insurance company originally gives, because the insurance company is giving pennies on the dollar.
So you can, on an average, I want to make sure I heard that right, get me like almost 5 times more than I could get on my own?
Yeah, it's crazy. And of course, no claim is, not every claim is the same. Everyone is individual. But, I've put my own list of comparisons together. I've been doing this for 5 years, in Northeast PA, and the numbers line up with that report. So we have, on average, been able to get over 500% more than what people started off with when the insurance company gave them their initial offer.
You offer a variety of different services to accommodate different people. Can you talk about those?
Sure. So one of the main things, and this is really important for people, is to educate them about their policy and to review their policy. Because when you look at your insurance policy, most people see the premium and they see a coverage amount, and some people may say, oh, that's way too much, or some people may think, that's not enough. There's a lot of confusion, I think, with what you should have coverage for. So really, when you're getting your policy in place, you want to make sure that you have enough coverage to replace your property. That's not to say that that's what the house is worth. It's different. That's value.
A battle of mine.
It is.
To this day, 20-some years doing this, it's a battle of mine. I go to their house, and they pull out the insurance policy. We're sitting at the kitchen table, and they show me what their house, This is what they think it's worth because it's insured for replacement value.
Yeah, and that's not the case,
No,
obviously.
no.
You know, what the value is what someone is willing to pay for it, right? The amount of insurance you have should be the cost to rebuild it. So it's the average cost of labor and materials in your area at that time, which is why most policies include what's called an inflation guard. So each year, your coverage amount is actually going up. Another, misconception with people is when they file a claim and they see their premium go up, they think it's in relation to the claim, which is not always the case because every year with that inflation guard, maybe the inflation guard is listed at 3%. Your premium or your policy, your coverage amounts are going up by 3%. So each year, it's almost like compound interest. So each year, your coverage amounts are going up by 3% if that's what it's listed. They're not going to give you that extra coverage for free. So, your premium goes up every year. And if you're not reviewing that, you could end up with more insurance than you need over the course of several years if you're not looking at it. And, you could pay for $400,000 of insurance, but come time, if something happens, you lose your whole home and it only costs $200,000 to rebuild it, they're only going to ever give that to you. They're not going to issue a refund for all the the extra payments you made, like for that $400,000 policy, but that's why it's important to review that. You also want to review to make sure, your deductible is not too high. We recommend anything $1,000 or less, but deductibles can change. It can be a percentage. You could have a flat rate like $1,000 for a deductible, but maybe you have a wind hail deductible for 2%. You don't realize that the 2% is 2% of your coverage amount, not what the claim is. So people think, oh, that's not that bad. $10,000 worth of damage, my deductible is 2% of that. No, it's, you have $200,000 policy, your 2% is 2% of the $200,000. So I think that's, there's a lot of misconceptions, but the endorsements, you want to make sure you have proper endorsements is, again, why it's so important to review your policy. If you have sump pumps, any water that's going to come down in there, a lot of people have sump pumps. If you don't have that sump pump endorsement and you get water in your basement, that's going to, damage. Now, it is limited usually to $5,000 or $10,000, but that's $5,000 or $10,000 that you don't have to take out of your pocket. And usually it's, it will cost a little bit more money, but it shouldn't be, too terribly expensive to add that. Some other things you want to be careful of is make sure you're not just taking any discount just to get a discount, because you could be cheating yourself of thousands of dollars. For example, instead of getting replacement cost, you get actual cash value. And that means that once you replace things, you won't be able to recover that amount, anything you pay above that. And, maybe you get a discount of a couple dollars a month.
So it's not worth it.
Take that actual cash value, and you're losing out on thousands of dollars in the end if something happens. So
good to have you here, Dawn Hansen, licensed public adjuster with the Hansen Group. Thanks for explaining all that. Would you come back next week?
Absolutely.
How does someone get in touch with you, please?
You can reach us on the phone at 570-795-4045 or by email, dawn@thehansengroup.org, and that's HANSEN.
Thank you, Dawn. Pat?
Yes, we have a 3-bedroom home at 312 South Webster Avenue in the Nativity section of Scranton for $89,000. You could probably live here for less now than you're paying in rent. This lovely home has a covered front and rear porch, along with seasonal views of the valley. It's got plenty of privacy with a fenced-in yard. The home is in move-in condition with an updated kitchen. It also has a formal dining room and a first-floor den that could be used as a 4th bedroom. That's a 3-bedroom home at 312 South Webster Avenue in Scranton for only $89,000, and that's listed by Kristen Barone of our office.
Right, and I want to assure our listeners, if you're thinking about selling, it's still a good time to sell. Market is strong, so give us a call. We're out of time. Thanks for tuning in to the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate and 94.3 The Talker. Tune in next Saturday at 11 a.m. and Sunday at 11:30 a.m. Have a great week.